Hey everyone, I am traveling today, but I decided to go ahead and do a review of Dot and Bubble, season 1 of Doctor Who, episode 5, if you're looking at IMDb, or episode 6 if you're looking at Disney Plus. So let's get into this episode because there actually is a lot to say. And I know a lot of people are actually talking about it right now, but what I want to talk about is something a lot of people aren't talking about quite yet. I don't usually like getting into social topics in reviews, but I think it's impossible not to do that with this particular episode, and not for the reason that you might think. This episode features a society of young people who are just so enmeshed in their Find Time social app that it's just all encompassing. It's this augmented reality influencer social media platform that is just wrapped around people. And people are disappearing, and the doctor can't fly into this particular city because he can't get past the world's defenses in time to save Lindy, this young woman who he has identified as being in danger. When he breaks into her social network, Lindy actually disregards him as someone who is not in her friends list and blocks him. However, he and Ruby eventually get to her and get her to look beyond this bubble that is wrapped around her to see the physical world that she's in and the dangerous monsters that are literally all around her. So the gist of the story is how the doctor and Ruby try to save Lindy and her responses to the conflicts she's presented with in the physical world. The art direction in the episode is amazing, embracing the old school look and feel of Doctor Who from like the 60s and 70s aesthetic styles and the color palettes and the music and actually the monsters too. And Lindy, the main character played by Callie Cooke, does a stellar job in her role. She's compelling and fascinating and revolting and a little pitiful and terrified at the same time. She just does this great job of bringing it all together. You can't help but to care about Lindy and want to save her, but she's also so enmeshed in her siloed way of thinking that she can't find the courage to trust and let someone actually help her who isn't within her friend's network, who isn't within her social network. I don't think I have ever seen a more biting and poignant just takedown of social media and the potential destructive power of unchecked machine learning and artificial intelligence on our ability to think and interact with the wider world than in this episode of Doctor Who. Here's what's cool about the episode, though, and how it imagines the future of technology. It uses AR VR technology paired with AI that blends the physical and digital worlds together, allowing people to be plugged into the system in their normal waking lives. The Find Time social channel uses this AI that inhabits a floating ball called Dot that, I don't know, think of it as a floating VR headset, kind of like the Apple Vision Pro, that just follows you around everywhere. And it maps out everything you do. And it beams this holographic bubble around your head, guiding your steps as you walk and facilitates your work life and your social life by keeping you constantly connected to the digital infrastructure at the expense of your ability to interact physically with the people and objects around you. That's how Find Time's Dot and Bubble technology works. The ingenious thing about the sophistication of the storytelling in Dot and Bubble is that this episode is about whatever you think it's about. it is incredibly difficult to write a story that follows you around like the Mona Lisa. The episode is universal in how it is constructed, which is why different people can take away completely different experiences, different themes, and different lessons from the episode. To focus too much on any one theme creates an overly simplistic interpretation of the episode that misses, in a huge way, the true scope of the story. Some of the themes included range from classism, racism, politics, education, work, relationships, social media, and technology. What I want to explore is the technology because it is the heart of this particular episode. And it's what pulls all of these themes together into a cohesive story. What we see in Dot and Bubble are the ramifications of a society that has over-rotated in its use of reliance upon technology. From the moment Lindy wakes in the morning to the moment she goes to sleep at night, she is plugged into Find Time, and that is how she navigates the digital and physical worlds around her. When she finally unplugs from the AI navigation system, she can barely walk through a room without crashing into things. She's just not able to operate. We also get a look at how siloed Lindy's society is and how literally nobody who isn't in her current friends list is seen in the episode, except for Ruby and the doctor, who actually are able to break in through the AI algorithm. However, logically, we know that those people must exist somewhere in the city, but they have basically been erased from Lindy's experience. And as an example of social siloing, if you don't think, act, or look like someone who would fit into Lindy's cohort, she just swipes you out of view. She did this to the doctor when he tried to warn her that her life was in danger. She did this to one of her friends who was creating a problem by talking about all these missing people. And she eventually did it with Ruby when Lindy got bored of her. This is a fascinating look at the siloing of society through social media and how we eliminate anyone or anything that challenges our way of thinking, and anyone who makes us feel uncomfortable, and anyone who violates our sense of our comfort zone. The bubble is essentially a metaphor or a visual representation of the social silos that are evolving and separating us from each other and the world around us. While none of these things are new themes or concepts in contemporary storytelling, the way it's done in Dot and Bubble is unlike anything that I have seen before, because it feels contemporary while imagining the future uses of technology and its implications. And that brings me back to AI. Dot and Bubble is a hyper exploration of an AI world gone wrong. If all you are taking out of this episode is the light mentions of racism, classism, and addiction to social media, I think you are likely missing the real point of the episode about a social media corporation called Find Time that has gained ultimate control over humanity's perception of reality and can literally make them think what they want, see what they want, and do what they want via the Dot and Bubble interface. What's insidious here is that it isn't until the end that we realize the problem goes far beyond Find Time as a corporation, and that the villains aren't the creepy human-sized monsters that walk around consuming people, nor is it Lindy. She isn't the real villain, even though she is a product of her environment, and a lot of her choices are deeply questionable. And her actions and ways of thinking are really influenced and in a great way designed and enhanced by her choices. It all just kind of feeds together, creating an echo chamber that reinforces her behavior based upon her actions, based upon the algorithm that feeds her more choices. And it constantly keeps feeding her more and more of what she's comfortable with to increase her engagement within the system. While this doesn't excuse her behavior or intentional choices in any way, it does explain them. And in so doing, it raises the awareness of how AI can influence the way we think and the choices that we make on a daily basis and how we interact with the physical world around us. Truly, the real monster in Dot and Bubble is the AI that runs Find Time. And that AI operates from within each of those little dots, creating and reinforcing the deteriorating ability of humans to think and operate on their own. Since this AI can think independently, create new things, and strategically make decisions, it could have chosen to subtly change the algorithm to introduce new ideas, new experiences, and new people to its users. But it didn't. Instead, it decided to eliminate users, as it would with any bad code that it finds within the system. So this angle on technology and AI within the Dot and Bubble episode is just one theme that people can explore. But I do think it's one of the most significant ones. I hope people do spend some time really thinking about it. What did you think about this episode? Did you pick up on those really deep technology, AI, and social media implications? Or did you focus on some of these other themes? And if you did focus on some of the other themes, what were the ones that really spoke to you? I'm really curious about what you're taking away from this episode because, again, it has the Mona Lisa effect where it just follows you around. Whatever you see in it is in there, but there's so much more. Am I overthinking this? Maybe I am. I definitely want to know what you think. So leave a comment, like the review, and subscribe for more videos because I'd love having you here. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. I will see you again soon. And next time I will be back home in my own office. So you will see me in my regular space again. Thanks again for viewing, and I will see you. Bye.